welcome to another evening at Wisdom River Lodge. I'm getting really good at saying that, so the crew's going to have to leave me alone about that. So, it's another night at the lodge, and we are a live call-in show. It's half an hour, and we're here to talk about psychic stuff and talk about Reiki and healing and all kinds of things. And last time we got into some wonderful conversation around dreams and things, so I would invite you to call in if you have questions or you have comments about any of the shows that you've seen. The number here, 664-4408. We are on only half an hour, so if you want to talk with me, you're going to have to give a call. I'm Laura, and I'm a psychic. How about that? So, some housekeeping details. The next show will be August 18th. At 8 o'clock, and we go the first and third Tuesday of the month. I suddenly thought we were doing the second and fourth, but we're not. First and third Tuesday of the month. And also on the calendar for the lodge, on August 14th, we're going to be doing another Spirit Circle out at the Houghton Mansion here in North Adams. That's on Church Street. And the circles start at 7 o'clock. There's a $20 sitting fee for that, and it's really kind of cool. The Houghton Mansion is haunted, and we get to, last time we got some raps and some taps and some good things going on, and we're anticipating that as this group sits and builds up the energy, that more and more physical phenomena will be happening. So you want to come on out for that. It's a lot of fun. The doors pretty much close promptly at 7 o'clock, so you want to be there a little bit beforehand so that you get a chair, and hopefully we'll see you there. Also, you want to, has the website address been up yet? We have a website, and you want to go and visit the website. We have a calendar there. There it is, wisdomriverlodge.com. And you can contact me directly through the website. There's also a phone number on the website where you can contact me. And the website tells you all the different things that I do. One of the things that I do and did last weekend is I went and did a private circle in someone's home, and that was a lot of fun. And you get to sit with me, and we talk about stuff. And one of the questions that came up, there's a really nice guy named Kevin, I think. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm terrible with names, so if I get your name wrong, it's just me, it's not you, who had recently lost someone, and he was asking about how that all works when people cross over, and how do psychics get in touch with them, and he just had some questions about that. So I thought, since he had to leave before we got to answer those questions, that I'd answer that question for him tonight on the show. When people cross over, it's a birthing process, and I think we've talked some about this before. There's this whole birthing process that goes on into the next world, and energy, we're all energy, and energy is not created, it's not destroyed. So if we're all energy, when we cross over into the next existence or die, as it appears on this plane, our energy is not lost. That energy moves on to another place, and that's why I call it a birthing process. That energy just births into another world. When people cross over, that energy, that birthing takes energy, and it's a process. And anybody who's seen a baby born knows that that's a lot of work for the baby and for the mom. And babies tend to sleep a lot when they're born. And there's an adage that's as above, so below. So basically, things that happen on this plane, similar on the next plane. So when people birth into the next plane, when they die here and birth into the next plane, they tend to sleep a lot. and that requires a lot of energy, so they tend to sleep a lot. And sometimes people aren't readily available to psychics. Their energy, they're sleeping. So when a psychic goes to find someone who's been deceased for a short period of time, say a year or so, we might not be able to access that person directly. A lot of times it can take actually quite a bit of time. But remember, we've also talked about time on the other plane, on the spirit plane. And what seems to be a long time for us, like 6 or 7 years, can be a blink of an eye on that plane. And that seems to be, that 6-7 year time frame seems to be the time frame that spirit kind of sleeps. And we can access people who have crossed over sooner than that, but as they gain, I almost want to say as they gain momentum on the other side, as they begin to understand the new world that they're living in and begin to understand how they can use their energy in that new world, then they become more accessible to us. And remember, I was saying that if we vibrate here and spirit vibrates up here, we got to come together to talk. And as these new spirits are learning their new vibrational level, it's difficult for them more difficult for them to come down a little bit and to use that energy. You know, the movie Ghost had some very, very nice examples of that when Patrick Swayze was trying to learn how to hit the penny. He was trying to learn how to use his new energy in a way that he could contact this world. And that takes time and it takes effort on their part. It takes some people longer than others. And one of the things that I look at too is how the person made their transition. If the transition was relatively peaceful and something that was anticipated or something that the person who was making that transition could adjust to, then they tend to have not as hard time adjusting to their new energy level. Usually when there's been a tragic event or a sudden event that causes the person to transition, then you will find that it takes more energy on their part because it took more energy to make that transition. And sometimes if the death happens suddenly, the person might not even be aware yet that they have made this transition, and they kind of hang about in betwixt and between, and that can make it more difficult to access them in some ways. In other ways, they can move change about on your bureau or move things about and make their presence known. Now, when people do transition, there's usually a few days right after that transition where they can be readily accessible. And you'll hear people say that when Aunt Tilly died, she showed up at Uncle Joe's house. And she showed up here and she showed up there. And I know in my own life, when a very dear friend of mine died and we were at the wake, a plate of fried zucchini magically appeared at our table that night at the restaurant, and she loved fried zucchini, and nobody at the table ordered it. So we kind of all chuckled because that was heaven sent. And you'll see little things like that occur shortly after a person dies. There'll be little signs that they want you to know that they're okay, and they'll contact you in some odd ways, like sending waiters over with plates of fried zucchini. But if you notice these things, you'll see that people will be accessible and they'll do things like that for a few days. And then they go into the sleeping phase, what I call the sleeping phase. And as they're learning, they almost go to school. They almost go to spirit school, and they learn to utilize their energy in a way that they can contact us and we can contact them. So it depends. You know, I have people come to me and a family member will have died within the last year or so, and it's often difficult to contact that family member because their energy is such that they're not able to sustain the meeting in the middle, so to speak. So so I hope that answers your question, and I'm hoping that other people will call and ask questions, because it's a gas answering questions about psychic stuff. And I really enjoy doing that. So if you have a question, homework. Thank you very much. The homework from last time. Now remember, we were talking about dreams. Big clue, and remember, if you call and talk about the homework, tell us what the homework was, and then tell us a little bit about you doing the homework. Camera people don't apply now. You will win a pendulum, and everybody in the studio must have been paying attention 2 weeks ago, because it seems that they all know the homework for a change. So if you call in and tell us what the homework was, I will send you a pendulum. Again, you can't have this pendulum. This one is mine. But I do make my own pendulums, and they're great little dowsers, and they're a lot of fun. So, and if you don't know how to use one, when Adam answers the phone, just say to him you want the pendulum, but you don't know how to use it, and I will send instructions along with you, or I will contact you and I will teach you how to use that pendulum. So, and the deal still stands. If you see me walking around the streets or see me in any of the stores locally, just stop me. I'm carrying a pendulum, and just say, I saw you on TV, and I will give you that pendulum. So, go ahead and if well, I'm gonna plow on through here. So I've been getting some questions about psychic stuff, and it's interesting that nobody wants to call me and ask, but people can email me, or they can call, and I actually had somebody leave a message on my phone asking a question. So, so I'm gonna take a couple of those questions and see if we can answer them. So, somebody wanted to know. They were telling me that they were watching TV in their living room, and they'd be sitting there, and it'd be getting dark, but not quite totally dark, and they'd see something go past the corner of their eye. And the minute they turn to look at it, it's gone. What is that? So, I think, remember we were talking about how people get psychic information, and that very often this little shadow off the corner of your eye is one of the first ways that we start seeing psychic information. And the minute you turn and look directly at that information, it vanishes. And that has to do, if you've been watching the show, you'll know when you look at auras and things, I tell you to look past. If you're looking for someone's aura, to look past that person to see the aura. And when you turn and look directly at that shadow, you're not looking past it anymore, and you don't see it. So that shadow is most likely a bit of psychic information in some type of spirit or some type of energy moving through the room, and you're just catching it because you're not focused on it. The minute you turn to focus on it, gone. So the next time you see that, if you can stop yourself from turning your head to see who that is or what that is, and you'll have a sense. You'll think, well, I just thought I saw a cat go by, or I just thought I saw somebody go by. So you'll have a very clear sense that it was a person or it was an animal. See, you're more psychic than you thought. You'll have that very clear sense So instead of turning and looking directly at it, try to stay unfocused off to the side of it and try to keep it in your peripheral vision and see if you can get more information. You may find that it's just somebody passing through. It may be a cat. I've got this cat in my apartment that is left over from someone else who used to live there, and I see it jumping off of my bureau quite frequently, and I can actually hear it too. I can hear the feet land on the floor. So those types of things happen all the time. Animals become attached to places, people become attached to places, and they like to visit, just like we like to go and visit places as well. So when you see these shadows, that's actually psychic information coming in. And if you can think not to look directly at it, which is really, really hard, but if you can train yourself not to look directly at it, you can probably pick up more information about who or what that is. So that's what's going on. You're just having some psychic information. Now, psychic information is real interesting because most people will tell you that when the lights are lower, they get more information, and that's why many psychics prefer to work in lower light. We'll dim the lights in the room, we'll close the blinds. When we're doing circles, like I do at the Houghton Mansion, we'll actually try to eliminate all light so that our focus is not physical. Our focus stays in the spiritual world. And a lot of people who wouldn't say that they're psychic get psychic information in twilight time when the lights are starting to dim and before they actually turn on their artificial lights. So a lot of information comes in then. Another thing you'll find too is that when you're tired, you'll get more psychic information. And the reason being is when you're tired, your brain isn't working as hard to filter the information that you're getting. It's tired, it doesn't want that job anymore. So psychic information can come in and you'll be able to perceive more. So that's, when people say to me, you know, I was watching TV and it was later in the evening, and I mean, that's a perfect time for psychic information to come in. The TV distracts you as well so that you're not censoring what you're seeing as far as the psychic information goes or what you're hearing. So, you know, one of the things that I talk about when I'm teaching people how to do this is, you know, that time just before bed is a really, really good time to practice a lot of your psychic exercises because your mind just is not censoring you like it would during the daylight time. So that's what's going on there. So that's another question that I got. And I got a kind of a cool question. Well, all these questions are cool. Somebody told me that they had purchased, they're an antique collector, and they had been out and about and had purchased a sword and brought the sword home. And all of a sudden, their cat is going spastic around this sword. Every time the cat comes into the room with the sword, the cat's and having a hard time with it. And they wanted to know what was up with that. Well, cats are real interesting creatures. They tend to be natural Reiki masters, and they also tend to be psychic. And there's a reason that we connect cats with witches and the esoteric and that, because they do have this element about them that lends itself to all of this information. And I find that my animals are actually much more psychic than I am. And so this cat is picking up the vibration off of this sword. And it turned out that I actually went and read this sword. And we were able to confirm the information. This sword actually came from the Civil War era and had seen significant battle time. And there were many souls attached to that. And this cat was just having nothing to do with that. The negativity of all of that energy was overwhelming to this creature who was very sensitive to that. So the cat was having a hard time, which lends us into yet another question. Well, when you get these things with negativities on them like that, what do? How do you get rid of that negativity? And it kind of depends on what it is and what that negativity is. For this particular object, it was a matter of smudging it and letting it bathe in moonlight to cleanse itself, and then working with it to release that negativity. I taught you can do that for yourself. Most people just don't know how to do that. So I can teach you how to do that. I had somebody was given a T-shirt by another person who was kind of questionable in their life. They didn't know whether this person was really a friend or whether they were someone who they should pay attention to and keep at arm's length. But every time, they said that every time they wore that T-shirt, they ran into some type of problem, whether it was a flat tire or they failed a test in school or other bad things were happening. And what's up with that? Well, you know, and Laura, you're talking all the time about good and evil. So, you know, somebody hands me a T-shirt and all of a sudden I'm wearing it and bad things are happening. What is that? Well, the negativity of people attaches our energy. Not just negativity, but our energy attaches itself to objects. Every time we touch something or come into contact with something, we leave a little shred of our energy with that. And if it's something that you wear on a consistent basis or something that somebody in your family wears on a consistent basis, it's going to have a lot of their energy in it. And this particular T-shirt had energy attached to it, a negative energy attached to it from the person who gave it, so that when the person who was wearing it would wear it, that negativity would kind of mix with their own energy and help create situations that were less than optimal. So, you know, you don't have to throw the T-shirt out. You don't have to burn the T-shirt. The guy actually really liked the T-shirt, and so what we did was we smudged it and we blessed it and cleansed it, and we were able to release that negative energy. Now, the thing, when you do these types of things, you want to make sure that you transmute this energy. You don't want to send it back to the person who gave it to you. Anytime you send negative energy out, you get it back. And the only person that it really, really hurts is yourself. Because as you send it out and the universe works with it, it's magnified and it comes back to you. So you want to be very, very careful anytime you're sending out energy to people, that you send out only positive energy. Because when you send out positive energy, the universe works with that, magnifies it, and sends it back to you. So we smudged the T-shirt and blessed it, and now the guy can wear it and it doesn't cause any problems. And now the show is winding down. We're less than 5 minutes. No one has called to talk about the homework, and no one has gotten the pendulum. I got these beautiful pendulums to give away. Whatever will we do? Well, I'm still walking around town, so actually you won't see me for a little bit. I'm headed out to Texas, which reminds me, hey, Merrick. Merrick's a 2-year-old friend of mine, and I just wanted to say hi. But I'm headed out to Texas. I'll be back in a week or so, and hopefully we're going to be doing some teaching and some work down there as well. So you might not see me around on the streets for the next week, but I will be about. Again, the next show is in 2 weeks, which is the 18th. So we need some homework for tonight. The homework for two weeks ago was to start recording your dreams. And I actually talked to someone during the week who had set up a dream journal and was starting to work that. It's too bad that she didn't call to get a pendulum. I know she's watching the show. So, camera staff are saying, chickens, you're all chickens. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Nobody wants to make that first call, obviously, but all right. So in 2 weeks, we're going to do another show. So what I want you to do is I want you to keep working on your dream journals, and I want you to make your own pendulum and learn to power it. You should be able to. I used to be in reverse, but now I think I'm going the right way. Show us a yes. Okay, back and forth. You want to stop your pendulum in between times. Show us no. That's a circle. If you don't believe me, I am not moving my hand. You should be able to run a pendulum like that fairly easily, and you can make them virtually out of anything. Around the pregnant women, they'll put a needle on a thread and ask the needle to show which if the pregnant woman's having a boy or a girl. So you can make your own pendulum, and make your own pendulum, and then it's called dowsing when you ask questions. And to start, it works best with yes and no questions. So start asking your pendulum questions, and then I want you to think about, like, if you ask your pendulum something like, should you move to Kalamazoo? And your pendulum says yes. Do you trust your pendulum? And would you move to Kalamazoo if a pendulum told you to? Because one of the things that we can look at here is, would you move to Kalamazoo if a psychic told you to? And why? So I want you to start playing with that. The pendulum runs on your energy, and everybody's got energy, so you should be able to run a pendulum fairly easily. You want to keep it lightweight to begin with. I have some fairly heavy pendulums at home, but you want to keep yours lightweight to begin with so that you can make sure that your energy is running that. So, August 18th, back here live at 8 o'clock. August 14th, 7 o'clock, over at the Houghton Mansion. We're going to have another spirit circle, so hopefully we'll see you there. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, be well, and we'll be leaving the lights on in the lodge for you, because that's just how we are. Take care. Good night.